Planescape Torment, the Unofficial audio series. A narrative let's play adapted and produced by RevocerGM, combining in-game audio with additional voice acting through dialogue and descriptions to improve your listening experience. Rediscover the amazing story of the 1999 cult classic isometric video game, Planescape Torment, like you've never heard before. Who are you?
I know scant little of you, restless one.
How about you stop? Who are you?
I know little more of those that have journeyed with you.
I don't know. I can't remember.
You! What is it that brings you here?
Such as you has left a path many have walked.
My love.
And few have survived.
You wake up on a slab, covered with dried blood and viscera.
I woke up
in one of the preparation rooms upstairs.
to be reborn as you would be a curse.
I see you as you are now.
What have you become that you must destroy that which keeps me alive and be immortal no longer? You look to Morte, smile, and step through the portal. You step through the portal, and for a moment, you feel as if nothing has changed. Then suddenly, the flagstones distort beneath your feet. The air is sucked away from you. A flash of color fills your mind. And the ground steadies. Your vision returns, and you find yourself in an ornately decorated crypt. Painted tiles line the vaulted ceiling. Cold braziers coated in ash stand in each corner. In the center is a large stone sarcophagus. There is no lid. It appears to have been here for centuries. You discard the musty robes and notice on the floor, in a neat pile, a pouch of copper coins with a bound note, written with remarkable penmanship upon the finest parchment. It reads, "Vaxis, if you are reading this, then you have undoubtedly failed in your task and have been forced to use the escape route I arranged for you. I told you your little disguise idea was ridiculous. In any case, you'll need to lay low for a while. The dustmen may be deluded, but they are not fools, and they will certainly seek retribution for our intrusion. I've left you some coins. Use them to secure a hiding place in the Hive, preferably in Ragpickers Square. The dustmen will be unwilling to look for you there. Once you have secured a new hiding place, I have a new mission for you. Find out where Farad is getting those bodies he's delivering to the mortuary. It's apparently causing the dustmen a great deal of upset, and I wouldn't mind knowing myself. Reports are that the stone-faced dustman at the Gathering Dust Bar, Initiate Emmerich I think the fool's name is, has been sending out finders to try and mark Farad's movements. See if you can find out how far along he is and hinder his efforts until we know more about Farad's activities. I don't want Emmerich finding out something before we do. Pen." Leaning against the heavy iron doorway, you hesitate for a moment.
What's eating you, Chief?
What can you tell me about Sigil?
See, Sigil's a ring-shaped city that's squatting on top of an infinitely tall spire in what some claim to be the center of the plains. Of course, how it could be at the top of an infinitely tall spire and how the city could even be at the center of the plains raises some questions.
Anything else?
It's called the City of Doors, mostly because there's a lot of invisible doors that lead in and out of it. Just about any arch, doorframe, barrel hoop, bookshelf, or open window might be a portal under the right conditions. It all depends on if you have the key to open it.
Again, with the keys.
See, I guess the best way to explain it is most portals are sleeping, right? You could walk through them, by them, on top of them, and nothing would happen. Now, every portal has something that wakes it up. That could be a tune you hum to yourself, a loaf of week-old Bitopian bread, remembering what your first kiss was like, and then bam, the portal gets its juices flowing, and you can jump through it to whatever's on the other side.
Like where?
Anywhere, Chief, literally. Any place you can think of, there's a portal there. That's why Sigil's so popular across the plains.
I see. With a deep breath, you push through the door and step out into a tangled nest of muddy streets. A sickly yellow light lingers on every surface, and the acrid stench of smoke stings your throat. Torn sheets and boarded doors line the narrowing alleyways, stretching in every direction, including upwards, where you expect to see a skyline. An impossibly steep slope of climbing cobbles curls all around you, the smog clearing just enough to make out the glint of windows high above your head. I could use some advice. What do you think we should do now?
Well, here's how I see things.
Go on.
I think you should try and root out this ferret wherever he set up Kip. You wouldn't have had those directions tattooed on your back if he didn't have some inkling of what was up with you. One of the locals around here has to know where he is.
Good point. You see a man sucking on a clay pipe as he hobbles along the muddy street. He draws his tattered jacket close about him as you approach, and makes a wide detour to avoid you.
Hey, hold for a moment.
He ignores you, moving faster now.
Sir?
He turns, glances briefly to each side, and seeing you alone, draws a large rusted nail from the cuff of his sleeve.
You'd best leave me be. You'll be wearing a shiv between your ribs.
Calm down. I just had some questions.
Piss off.
He spits at your feet and limps away. Farewell then.
Hey, Chief, we're being watched. Just look natural. Casual.
Two figures are lurking in the shade, their shoulders adorned with spined leathers, mimicking the cruel barbs of the monument that looms above them. They catch you looking back. The larger of the two, a hungry grin on his face, reveals a wicked dagger, twirling it in a menacing arc. They approach and begin to pace a slow circle around you.
Interesting marks on you, Cutter. Hard not to take notice. I'm telling you, they're the same.
Grimy fingernails trace over the tattoo on your shoulder. You bat the arm away, and in an instant, a crack on the side of your head. The larger of the two has you bound in a tight grapple, his dagger pressing towards your neck.
Hey, if I gotta slam my eyeballs against you two one more second, I'm gonna puke.
You shunt your head back into the heavy thug's face and push yourself away, just as his dagger catches the nape of your neck. He bares his bloody teeth in a malicious grin, which at once twists into horror as he peers over your shoulder, then flees into the murky haze. His companion behind you lies in the dirt, flailing, choking, with Morte latched onto his neck in gruesome ferocity. The spluttering ceases, and after a moment, the blood-drenched skull floats up, a sheepish look on his face. A romantic, huh? You bring your hand to where a gentle trickle of blood has formed on your neck, but the cut has disappeared, leaving behind a thin raised scar. How did you die, Morte?
No idea, Chief. I kind of forgot when I died. Can't say I blame myself much. At least there was something waiting for me after, even if it is life as a floating skull. I mean, it could have been worse.
What happened to your body?
I don't know, alright? It's just gone.
Morte glares at you.
But don't think I miss it, because I'm happy just the way I am, and I don't need your half-wit judgments or snide remarks, alright?
Whatever. Come on, shake a leg.
I'm not convinced you aren't some sort of walking curse that's destined to follow me around.
Look who's talking. Let's go. The display of violence has attracted surprisingly little attention. You do see one woman curiously watching you. Young, barefoot, wringing at the sleeve of her weathered tunic.
Greetings, blood.
She gives you a shy half smile.
Say, I was considering going for some bob later. You fancy coming along?
Sorry. Perhaps another time. Her smile turns to a pitiful grimace. You pull out a few copper pieces, and for a moment she looks nervous, then snatches them from your palm and whispers,
"Thank you, Cutter,"
then scurries away. You come to a clearing amongst the broken slums. Despite the ooze-clogged gutters and general filth, there's some comfort in finding that not all of this city is so cramped. The moment of relief, however, is shattered in an instant.
Oi, look! A floating skull!
Lurching towards you is a broad-set man with brackish red skin and heavy, ridged features. Without looking, Morte rolls his eyes and cries,
Oi, look! A talking turd!
What?
You're looking to get a few teeth knocked out, you jabbering bonebox.
Seeing his stature, he bobs in your direction.
I was referring to this big scarred up Burke here, blood. Not you. No harm done, eh?
The man looks you up and down, snorts, and shakes his head, then strides off. Talking turd, Mort grins. Across the square, a burst of noise grabs your attention. A small group is gathered, heckling a woman as she frantically grasps her robes about her. They tug at the fraying edges of her cloak and kick her to the floor. Noticing your approach, one stops and looks at you. At the moment of recognition, his eyes go wide and the blood drains from his face.
Powers above and below. They said you'd come back, but I didn't believe them.
He takes off in a frantic flee, followed swiftly by the rest, leaving the woman wrapped in her rags. Her hair is matted, her complexion dark and worn. She looks exhausted. Burns cover her arms, and her right hand is a fused lump of flesh. It looks melted, like wax exposed to a great heat.
Are you okay?
You reach out your arm to help her, but she flinches and covers her face.
¿Qué quieres conmigo? You want me to leave? Not leaving this city, so I'm not. I can't. Lo intenté. It's not a city. Es una jaula. A prison everywhere.
A prison? Her eyes gleam wildly.
There's worlds. There's plains that be sinking sands. Fields, thirsty nettles be sightless words where limbs are given life and hate. Cities of dust whose people are dust and whisper ash. La casa sin puertas de twilight lands. El canto. The singing winds.
She tries to sob, but her tears are all dried out.
Y sombras. The terrible shadows there be.
Where are these places?
Where's them places?
She flings the lump of her right hand in an arc, gesturing at the cityscape.
Aquí. There's all here be. Portales, doors, here to everywhere.
Doors?
You're not knowing this?
She squints at you, and her teeth start chattering.
Ingres, tell you I will. Beware, every space you walk through or touch in this thrice-scarce city. Doors, gates, arches, windows, marcos, picture frames. The open mouth of a statue, the spaces twin shelves. Beware any space bounded on all sides. All these are doors to other places.
I'm not sure I understand.
Every door has a llave, a key. It does. And with this key, they show you their true nature. An arch becomes a portal, a picture frame becomes a portal, a window becomes a portal, all eager to take you somewhere else. They steal you away.
She raises the lump of her right hand as proof.
Y a veces, lo que está del otro lado toma parte de ti como un diezmo.
And you have one of these keys?
No. The keys? Tantas. The keys number as many as the doors of this city. Every door a key, every key a door.
Her teeth start chattering again, as if chilled to the bone.
And a key is anything. Puede ser an emotion, un clavo de hierro held between second and fifth fingers, a thought 3 times, then thought once in reverse, o puedo ser... It may be a glass rose.
So anything could be a key that opens one of these doors?
Yes.
Her teeth continue to chatter, and she clenches her mouth closed and squints her eyes.
Yes. Can't leave. No puedo ir.
How did you get here, Ingress?
From...
She seems to calm slightly, then her eyes glaze and lose focus.
Came from a place else from here. Casi... almost a life ago. Hummed a tune by a glade with 2 dead trees that had fallen together. Una puerta brillante opened in the space between the crossed trees. Showed me the city on the other side. I stepped through. Ended here.
Why can't you go back?
Lo intenté. tried. All doors here lead to other places.
She shudders and grips her melted right hand.
Went through thrice 10 portals, some a purpose, some accident. None of them right. Can't find a way back.
There must be a portal that can take you back.
Can't even live here. Esta plaza. And there, el lugar de la muerte behind the gates waits for me. Can't go anywhere in this city.
You can't go anywhere. What do you mean?
Anything could be a door. Any arch there, any door here could be a portal. Don't know the key. Could get sent to another horrible place.
Her teeth start chattering, louder still.
Got to stay away from the closed places. All could be doors. Could have a key on me and not be knowing it.
You're afraid to go through any door or arch because it might be a portal. She nods. Her teeth, like castanets, continue to clatter in her mouth. How long have you been afraid of this? She squints.
Since the last time I walked through the last portal, the place donde mi mano.
She stops.
Since my 10th turning. I'm in my 4th, 10th turning that now.
30 years? You haven't walked through any door for 30 years. Her vision seems to clear slightly. She looks up at you. The chattering of her teeth is so loud it makes you feel uneasy. To be too afraid to walk through any door, that's... She smiles. Her teeth aren't chattering because she is cold. They are moving around inside her mouth, her gums twisting as the teeth shift about. They rise and recede as you watch, chattering as they rattle against each other. What? She hisses at you.
Only takes one portal you step through accident to drive the fear into you. I went through thrice 10, lost my hand, burned my flesh, perdido mi mente. No más. No más.
I'm sorry. If I can find some means to help you, I will. Farewell. You leave her be, with no idea how you could help her. There has to be some way for her to return home and be free from this city of doors, this cage. Day 1. Hour unknown. I've escaped the mortuary and found myself in the Hive, a riddle of streets in a floating city called Sigil, the city of doors. I found a note that mentioned someone in the Gathering Dust Bar, an initiate named Emmerich. It seems I am not the only one interested in finding this Farad. I also met Ingress. She had been transported to the city through one of these doors on a home plane, and ever since has not been able to find a way back. I've promised to help her if I can, but as everyone keeps telling me, these doors could be anywhere, and the keys could be anything. You catch the eyes of a scrawny young figure leaning upon a wooden staff. One of their legs is bound in tightly woven scraps of cloth. "Greetings, kid." They hobble back, startled.
Hey, what you be wanting, Cutter?
Their gaze is locked onto your scars.
I've nothing on me, so's I don't. And my rags are not worth the trouble.
Calm yourself. I'm not here to rob you. I just had some questions. Keeping a distance, their eyes dart from side to side as if expecting something to step out of the shadows.
Questions, you said? And, what might those questions be?
What can you tell me about these slums? They look at you warily, brows furrowed in confusion.
What you wanted to know about the Hive, Cutter?
Why is it called the Hive?
I don't know.
A look of fear crosses their face.
A mess of streets, a mess of people, mayhap.
Oh, easy now, Chief. Looks like it just blew this kid's mind.
Anything around here of interest?
It depends. Depends on what you find interesting, Cutter.
What if I was looking for a good time?
Yeah. Well, there's the Smouldering Corpse Bar, a few blocks southward of the mortuary, and the Dusty Bar's just back over there.
They gesture casually to one of the buildings at the edge of the square, and their initial panic seems to subside a little.
Though you don't look the colour to be drinking both with the Dusties. Any of the other places around here is just dangerous, so be on your guard. Oh, and I'm not a kid.
What do you mean?
Earlier, you called me a kid. I'm not.
Sorry. Sir, Mr.
All right, relax. Just call me Chino.
Chino. What's dangerous around here?
Anywhere in the Hive once dark falls. Then there's the angled alley. Oh, you want to be keeping yourself out of there unless you want to be in the dead book.
Why is this alley of angles so dangerous?
Place of gangers and muggers, Cutter. Don't be going there unless you want your next stop to be the mortuary. Used to be a street for some balmy mate, burned it down one night. That's the Hive for you.
Where's this alley located?
It's just further down and round the gathering dust.
All right. And what if I was looking for some work?
Precious little, honest work to be found around here, Cutter. You can hunt some brain vermin for some coppers, pass them off to the branch for some jink to tell. But messing with the brain vermin's dangerous work, though.
Brain vermin?
Aye, nasty little critters.
Chino bares their front teeth and chitters, imitating a rat.
It's not funny. Alone, they're nothing at all. It's just when these get together, they get a little smart the more of them around each other. They start getting smart as a governor. Nobody in their right mind wants that to happen. Hazard to everyone's health it is.
What else can you tell me about this city?
What you want to know about Sigil then?
What is this place?
The city? City of doors. The cage. Place where all doors lead to and from. Centre of the plains. I guess most of the backwash from all places too. Some say this is where everybody ends up at one point or another.
City of doors.
Aye. You see, Cutter, the city is...
Chino struggles to find the right words and frantically scratches at the tangled mess of straw-like hair that sprouts from their head.
The city's got a batch of doors scattered through it, and you see, the doors...
The doors...
Let me rattle my bone box with a little more sense. You see, these doors, they're all over Sigil, but they don't always look like doors, see. They're more like portals, see, and they can be just about anything. A window frame, a
picture frame, an archway, a barrel hoop, a space between a table's legs or a statue's legs. And let me guess, all of these things are doors.
Aye, doors. Portals can be anything that's closed on all sides. It's hard to tell where they are unless you got the key to the door.
You've heard all this before, but they appear to be enjoying themselves, and you don't have the heart to stop them. Enlighten me. What are these keys?
Each door's got a key, which makes it open, see. Most times, you won't even know a door's around you unless you got the key. Then the door opens, and you can step through and take your chances. Trick is, you know, I was saying all those doors can be anything. Well, so can keys. They could be a thought you'd be having about pastries, or a little jig you do, or maybe the key's an object like a cobblestone or a broken tooth. Anything.
Chino shrugs.
I imagine every place touches here, one way or another. Not all the Sigils as ugly as you see here, neither. That how you get here, Cutter? Through a door?
What makes you say that?
Well, you don't act like you're from round Sigil, see?
I see. I'm missing a journal. Have you seen one? Or do you know where I might find one?
You missing a what?
Never mind. Farewell. Thank you for your help. As you turn to leave, they lick their lips and poke out a dry, pale tongue.
Cutter, you might think you're...
Chino studies you intently.
You could spare a few coppers for a blood who helped you on your way. Not many around here do that for a fella. Enough for us to wet the tongue after all that talking.
You palm 3 coppers into a bandaged hand. Glancing around to see if anyone saw the exchange, they tuck the coins into the wrappings of their leg.
Thank you kindly, Cutter. May the lady's shadow pass you by.
No problem, kid. Chino. Wait a minute. Lady. Who do you mean?
The mistress of Sigil. You not heard of her? You must be blessed, or more clueless... know little about Sigil indeed. Lady's words law here in Sigil, except she don't say much. Dead silent she is, actually.
Some law.
Oh, don't be talking too much about her, Cutter. You don't want to cross her shadow, nor be singing her praises, all right? Now, let's say no more about it. Rattling your bone box about the lady is dim. Dim indeed.
And with that, Chino hobbles away, a grim and worried look on their face. Farewell then. You head towards the Gathering Dust Bar, a strange building with dark granite walls and a conical roof made of dirty marble. The whole structure is teeming with black, razor-sharp vines. It seems out of place amongst the rickety thatched hovels that line the streets. In front, an animated corpse stands at attention. It's in a sad shape. Its shoulders are slumped, and one of its legs is broken, causing it to lean to one side. Stains of rotten fruit, mud, and bird droppings cover it from head to toe. Despite the many stitches, the corpse's rotting skin peels away, revealing long stretches of muscle and bone. You'd guess that this zombie is frequently used as target practice. Some of the tears in the skin still have rocks and bits of glass lodged in them. One wicked-looking cobblestone is embedded in the side of its head, dripping traces of brain matter and rotting flesh. To add to the indignity, graffiti has been carved into its body, and several notices have been nailed into its chest, back, and head. Some of them are still legible. One, tacked to its back, is from the Office of Vermin and Disease Control. Another, on his forehead, looks to be a bill of fare for a restaurant, and on his chest is an official notice. There also appears to be some sort of want ad. The official notice reads, "Public notice. By order of the Judiciary Council and in accordance with the citizenry of Sigil, let it be known those defacing a registered servant of the Dustman, either by graffiti, malicious attack, or by posting notices, will constitute felonious assault, and the perpetrator will be answerable for the vandalism of said servant by order of the Hall of Speakers." The want ad reads,
Wanted. Able-bodied person willing to investigate a matter of the utmost importance to the Dustman cause. Will offer suitable compensation upon successful completion of said task. Interested parties inquire with Initiate Norokch, Gathering Dust Bar.
The bill of fare pinned into the zombie's forehead appears to be for the Gathering Dust Bar, but it cannot be read, as scrawled in charcoal over the bill are the words Smoldering Corpse Bar. At your voice, the zombie immediately jerks its left arm upwards and points far down past your left shoulder. A moment later, the arm falls back to its side with a thump.
Reminds me of a job I once had. I mean, without the arms.
I wonder if this would work with the rest. From the Office of Vermin and Disease Control, you read,
"To those Hive citizens wishing gainful employ with the most honourable and generous Sigil government, inquire forthwith at Office of Vermin and Disease Control to help stem plague of brain rats. Bounties paid. Green given for each rat tail brought. Tails must be genuine and from rat only. No cat, dog or fiend tail accepted. Office several streets downward of the mortuary gate in Lower Hive. Ask for official inspector in charge, the respected Phineas T. Lort, the 39th.
Office of Vermin and Disease Control. The zombie's arm jerks upwards and points down another street off the square, this time to your right, before again falling back to its side. The graffiti that's scrawled all over the body runs from obscenities about the Dustman to slogans glorifying what appear to be local gangs. One piece of graffiti catches your eye. Someone has carved the name Farad on the corpse's left arm and slashed an X through it. Farad. The zombie immediately jerks its arm upwards and points far up over the opposite side of the square, and then down. Thanks. You look to Mort with a smirk. Well, that solves that then, and head into the Gathering Dust Bar. Inside, you see dozens of tables with somber-looking dustmen, dressed in their dark robes. A multitude of hushed conversations in unfamiliar languages scatter throughout the bar. Featureless, dark metal gates occupy the majority of the far wall. There doesn't appear to be any way to open them, but it grimly reminds you of the inside of the mortuary. The entire place is decorated with morbid trinkets, skulls of unusual species, mosaics made of bone, twitching homunculi sealed in glass. Bubbling tanks dispense their contents into wooden casks that line the stony shelves, and the faint smell of vinegar stings your nose. The bar itself, tended by several animated corpses, is made of a green stone that seems to evaporate any liquid that touches it. A zombie brushes past you, carrying a mop and bucket. The vacant eyes briefly gaze into yours, and a strong waft of alcohol emanates from its body.
Chief, what are we doing here? What say we just give this place the laugh, all right?
A voice calls out from one of the centermost tables.
You, stranger, speak with me for a moment.
A tiny wizened man peeks from out his robes. They are so comparatively large they almost drown him. Although he looks to be in his late 90s, he is extremely energetic. His shock of bluish hair matches his bright bird-like eyes that dart around the bar, and he fidgets continuously.
Greetings.
The man's eyes gleam as he takes your measure, and he gives you a bizarrely regal nod in greeting.
Hail and well met, traveller. You have the look of one who is just getting their Sigil legs about them. Pardon me. Have we met before? Your face seems familiar somehow.
Possibly. Are you certain it was me?
Maybe I was mistaken.
He shakes his head.
Well, no matter, no matter. How is it that Morte Gravesend may help you? Do you seek the contract, perhaps?
Contract?
The contract. Why, it is but a simple transaction.
From the depths of his huge robe, Morte pulls forth a roll of parchment and a quill pen.
I give you 50 commons. In return, after death, the Dustman faction may claim your remains.
He smiles, then clucks his tongue.
What use will you have for them at that point anyway?
What do the Dustmen do with the body? He holds up his hands as if he doesn't know.
What does it matter? It is of no consequence when you pass on.
It matters to me.
Well, if you must know, ofttimes nothing is done with the body, and it is we, the Dustmen, who have wasted all that money. More fools us.
He gives a light, apologetic smile.
But rarely. There are times when the workers in the mortuary need to be replaced, and then we may have need for your body.
You mean I'll be animated as a corpse and put to work in the mortuary? That doesn't sound good.
But no harm is done. No pain.
He raises a finger, as if to emphasize the point.
And there is no danger. In exchange for money you can spend in this life, you merely have to give us something you will have no need of anyway once you have died.
He taps his chest.
I signed the contract myself, if you must know. I shall have no need of my body when I pass on.
I'll consider it. For now, I have some other questions.
Of course. Of course.
Morte nods.
It would be my pleasure to answer any questions you may have.
I need to speak to Emmerich. I'm to believe he may know something of the man I'm searching for, Farad. Have you seen him?
Farad? He's one of those collectors, isn't he? I know little of him. I think Initiate Emmerich has mentioned him in passing.
He glances around.
Emmerich should be around here in the bar somewhere. He can usually be found in the far corner at the head table, I believe.
That's all I wish to know. Farewell. He nods as you turn to leave. Is there something wrong?
Forgive me. I must ask again. Are you sure we haven't met before?
Possibly. I do not recall you. He shakes his head.
Well, no matter.
Farewell, Morte.
Yes, farewell. Farewell.
He studies you as you leave, and you hear him mutter under his breath.
Something about that one.
At the head table of the Gathering Dust Bar is a heavy-set man with skin like brazen sheets of polished metal. He is dressed in simple yet pristine dustman robes, and several corpses stand guard at his side. He beckons you over, regarding you with his piercing eyes.
You have the look of one lost. Did the wind send you, or are you here with purpose?
The man's voice is like stone settling. Who are you?
I am Emmerich, factotum, and initiate of the Fourth Circle.
Is this your bar?
If you measure ownership in copper, this is not my establishment. If you measure ownership in spirit, it is mine. The dustmen here are my students. They are under my protection. What is it that brings you here?
I'm searching for a man named Farad. I'm led to believe you may know how I could find him.
I would know why you seek the Collective Farad.
Why? Is there something wrong?
The Collective Farad has brought many corpses to the mortuary of late. One must ask where these bodies are from.
What do you mean?
Some are recent dead. They still have their last moments in their eyes. Many more bodies are centuries dead. The dust of ages lies upon their bones.
Well, perhaps I could find out where these bodies are from.
How would you do such a thing?
I would track down Farad and ask him.
If you spoke with the Collective Farad and returned with his answers, you will have done a great service for the Dustman. Find where the dead he brings to us are from, and you will be rewarded.
Very well. I will find Farad, speak to him, and find out where these dead bodies he brings you are from. But there's just one problem. I don't know where he is. Do you know where I could find him?
It is not known to me where the Collective Farad is. He hides from the eyes of the Dustman. I would seek other collectors and ask them your question.
Fine. I'll see what I can do then. Farewell. Emmerich nods.
Your path is our path. Return here when you have the Collective Farad's answers. As I said, you will be rewarded.
We'll see. You exit the Gathering Dust Bar, nod to the stale zombie standing post at the entrance, and head towards the center of the square. A woman passes by. A surgeon's cap sits on her brow, and her tunic is worn and faded, but remarkably clean. She's carrying a bundle of bandages and bottles of clear solution. She seems to recognize you instantly and steps back in horror.
After all this time, you bastard! May all the fiends in bear to take you, and one day you'll be sorry for what you did to Aaron. By all the powers, I swear it.
She turns and flees into the distance. Wait!
Don't let it bother you, Cutter.
You look down. Leaning on a crutch next to you is a short, stocky woman with stark white hair.
Probably some barmy addled from too much time at the gatehouse.
She spits at the floor and coos to an empty bundle of rags swaddled in her elbow.
I hates it here. Wish I made enough jink to leave the hide for good. Take me advice, Cutter, and get out when and if you can. Can't stand the thought of raising my child here. Maybe one day me family can leave this awful place.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Aye. Look.
There is a prolonged pause as she lingers next to you.
Lot of people come round here to mourn their dead, you know. There's a right strange dustman at the memorial who can tell you if someone you're looking for has died, or bury their name for him if you like him remembered.
Thanks. I'd best be on my way.
Aye. Careful now, Cutter. I saw some keyless chit ranting and scampering about the other day. It's a wonder she hasn't starved or gotten herself killed, addled as she is. Heard she's a prime who went barmy trying to find her way home.
I've met her. Her name is Ingress. Farewell. To the edge of the square, you see a vast gate opening into the court of a domed building adorned with jagged black spikes, giving it the appearance of some immense insect. Wrought iron letters hammered into the arch signal that this is the entrance to the mortuary that you woke up in just hours ago. In front of the archway is a cloistered memorial housing an obsidian obelisk. The polished masonry is tangled with more of the black leafy vines, their razor-sharp thorns twisting defiantly through the stonework. Several dustmen gather around the base, joining together in a solemn chant that rises to a near shout every few minutes, then slowly fades in a way that reminds you of an echo. Once it fades completely, the dustmen speak several lines praising the true death, then begin their chant again. Inside the memorial square, you see a dustman with a crooked smile frozen on his face. Despite the smile, his eyes are as dull as stones. He keeps his right arm, much shorter than the left, tucked and cradled at his side. As you approach, his eyes slide over you.
Name?
I don't know. The way he speaks the word, it sounds like the tolling of a bell.
No name, can't help you.
The curious sing-song voice puts your hairs on an end.
Need to give a name if you want to see where it's died.
What?
Given a name when you're born, give it back when you need no more. Death of names, death of names.
His eyes swim across the monolith, then the walls surrounding the monument.
Buried many names here, Death of Names has. Tell me a name, I'll show its grave.
I don't know. Try Adan.
Not dead yet, that name is. Not buried here, not time. Not time.
Very well. Sorry to disturb you. You back away from the dustman and begin to inspect the dark obsidian walls. Thousands upon thousands of names have been carved into it. A man is stood at the base, staring at the black stone in front of him, shoulders hunched, rubbing the tension out of his thick, bullish neck. Greetings. He throws you a glance.
There's room, Cutter. No need to ask my leave to stand here.
Actually, I wanted to know what this monolith was.
It's a tombstone for the plains. Graveyards of names are scratched on that rock. Can only hope my name's the one that'll split this stone in twain.
He points at the base of the monolith.
Quentin, right there. Hammered in just hard enough to send the damn thing crashing down.
Tombstone for the plains.
Aye.
Quentin smiles ruefully.
The Dusties scratched the names of the dead on this monument here.
He gestures around him.
And on the walls of this place. Not enough space by my reckoning, but no matter. They do their best. Can barely read half the names.
What are you doing here?
Reading the new arrivals. I try and find a new one every day. Try and remember if I knew them. Nothing more.
The dustmen record the names of all that have died on this monument.
Aye. I don't know why they take the trouble to take accounting of the dead. The Dusties have more of a care for the living.
The living?
Aye. You know about the dustman mourners that come to this place. They aren't about mourning the dead, see. They're mourning the living. You can't get a word in them edgewise without them asking to mourn some poor living Burke for you.
Why do they mourn the living?
Oh, you got me there, Cutter.
He shrugs.
Might want to put the question to them. Seems to me the dead are thrice worth the pity of any poor sod living in this pit.
He nods at the monument.
Every name on there is blessed in my book, it is.
Ever know anybody who came back after their name was put on there?
You mean come back from death?
Quentin shakes his head.
Not a one, Cutter. Everything that lives dies, and that's the way of things.
He shrugs.
Still, considering the plains go on forever and all, I suppose anything's possible.
I suppose so. You look back at the dustman overseeing the memorial.
Can you tell me about that, interesting dustman on the other side of the monolith? Not the sanest bird in the cackle house, is he? That barmy's called Death of Names, though Death of Sense might fit him better.
What does he do here?
He's the keeper of the memorial area. Knows where all the names are round here, and can point one out if you need him to. He's a little addled, to be sure, but he's helped me a few times. He's also got the duty of carving new names in when their owners pass on.
I see. Thanks.
Aye.
You leave the memorial, cold and empty. You don't even know your own name. You look up to the silhouette of the mortuary, smudging into the dimming haze of the city around you. The light has been slowly shifting from the sickly yellow into a pale, dusty orange. In front of the mortuary, staring directly at you, is a cowled figure, hunched by the gate. You meet their gaze. For a change, they neither seem to avoid you, nor threaten you as you approach. Their build is large and sturdy, but their face obscured by the shadows of their hood. What little skin you can see is covered with thick stubble and what appears to be a foul green and purplish rash. The rash seems heaviest around their neck, fading as it crawls up their chin. Greetings. The bulky figure doesn't budge. There is a moment of silence. Then...
Hi!
They respond in an unexpectedly high-pitched voice. Who are you?
Pox am I, hi!
Pox.
Hi.
Oh. What are you doing here, Pox?
Wait for debtors, do I? Hi.
Debtors. Corpses. Well, why?
Find a debtor, take him through the gate, get some jink, then again I wait, hi.
Through the gate? Why?
A debtor's to a dustman, what copper's to a collector. Bring them the dead, they give you a copper at the gate, they do, hi.
Is the front gate the only way inside the mortuary?
Hi, only a debtor or dustman go in the gate, they do. You want Pox make you debtor again?
Again?
Hi, many time you ask, Pox always do.
How many times, exactly?
Many time, hi.
So, we've met before.
Hi.
What do you know about me?
You, a debtor who don't stay debtor for long, hi. Deal square with Pox, you do.
Well, Pox, I'm actually looking for someone. Do you know of Farad?
Hi, Farad, collector. Big, name has weight, castle long, shadow it does, hi.
Do you know where I might find him?
Hi, in the hive there he is, somewhere's hi.
Can you be more specific?
Hi, somewhere's in the hive he is. Farad hide he does. Very hard finding he is. Not worth finding he is.
Not worth finding? What do you mean?
Hi, many hates him, other collectors even. Sharegrave hates him, not like Farad at all. Hi.
Sharegrave?
Hi, Sharegrave, big name. Carry weight, cast long shadow he does. Tell Pox what to do he does.
Would your boss, the Sharegrave, would he know where Farad is?
Hi, Sharegrave knows darks he does. No Farad a hiding he does. Sharegrave in Ragpickers Square many blocks up here, hi.
Pox waves an arm vaguely across the square over your shoulder.
Say Sharegrave that Pox send you, tell him. Sharegrave become Share Copper with Pox he will, hi.
Ragpickers Square, up of here. All right. I'll go look for the Sharegrave there, then. Thank you. You turn to leave, then look back once again to this strange figure. Say, how did you get a name like Pox?
Mother and father named me. Wished a Pox on firstborn. A curse given came true, it did, hi.
Again, your eyes are drawn to the purplish-green rash covering Pox's chin and neck. Farewell, then, Pox. You tread the zigzag of muddy streets towards where Pox had pointed. However, with no sun and the disorienting rise of buildings enveloping you in all directions, you find that it's easy to lose your bearings. A woman crosses your path, tiptoeing over a puddle, the hem of a patchwork skirt gathered in her hands. She glances at you, but turns away quickly, unwilling to make eye contact. Excuse me, miss. She throws another ice-cold look at you and continues. Miss? She turns again, and this time she's grasping a sharpened bone hairpin pointed directly towards your groin.
Leave me be, dog, or I'll be jabbing this where they'll never be finding it.
Calm down. I just had some questions I wanted to ask you. She makes a semicircle over her heart with her free hand.
I've nothing to say to you. Be gone with you.
You know, Chief, I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Come on. After a few more minutes of blind wandering, you come to a large gate with spiny claws protruding from its crown like the vestigial talons of some reptilian beast. As if conjured by that very thought, a hulking scaled form shifts past you, its bat-like wings clipping your shoulder.
What the?
With a snarl, its head shifts in your direction, tongue flickering malevolently. A strong vinegary smell emanates from the creature, and the air about it burns with an unnatural heat.
Whoa, Chief, bar that. You don't want to be rattling your bone box with any fiend on the street. Leave be.
With a growl and a hiss, the fiend strides on its way. From the side of the arch, you hear a chuckling. A loudly dressed, flamboyant fellow saunters up to you, flinging his bright yellow scarf about his shoulders in a dramatic flourish. His skin looks powdery, like fine sand, and his eyes have the gleam of polished emeralds.
Watch yourself round here, Buck. Violence is a way of life in the Hive. Greetings.
He gives you a quick bow and a smile, revealing flint-like teeth.
Only a single common for my services as a tout. What can I point you to?
All right, here's a copper. What can you tell me about this area? The man palms the coin and bows again.
This small district of the Hive has 3 gates. This, the Thorn Gate, leading back to the mortuary. Blackshade Gate, just spire with it here. And the Dannet Gate, Mercer's Gate. Location I know is the Flophouse, where a weary blood can get some rest.
Where's the Flophouse?
Right in the middle of the square, Cutter. A long, narrow building with a little sign outside. Good, cheap place to call Kip for a night if you're feeling beat.
And where's the Mercer's Gate lead?
Just another part of the Hive, Cutter. Down the Astral Way. The Office for Vermin and Disease Control is there, and the Powers Row Market.
And what about the Blackshade Gate?
It leads to Ragpickers Square, Cutter, where all the collectors call Kip.
That's all I needed to know. Thank you. Farewell.
I can only add to what your purse round here, Cutter. There's oft-times pickpockets in this area, methinks.
The Thorn Gate opens out onto a cramped square, flanked by a few rickety water towers, riddled with the dark razor vine that spreads unchecked in this part of the Hive. In the center, you see the long, narrow building of the Flophouse, signaled by a wooden sign.
Debtors! Debtors! Come out, come out! Debtors! Come out, come out!
A cart trudges past, almost crashing into you and avoiding a puddle of thick ooze that ripples with an unworldly sentience.
Blasted things!
This man appears less dour and wary of passers-by than the people around him. He moves with an upbeat gait, pushing his small cart, casually scanning the ground to either side of him as he goes. A carved wooden bowl rattles at his neck as he moves, and oddly enough, it resonates with a low, sonorous ring.
Oh, hello, Cutter. My apologies. Say, you seen any debtors about?
None nearby, no.
Oh, too bad, too bad. All right, good day, good day.
Well, wait, can I ask you something?
Oh, had some questions, did you? Well, ask away then.
You're a collector, right? What can you tell me about them?
Oi, collectors. Well, these here are collectors' robes, Cutter.
He indicates his ragged brown robes.
Any poor sod you see wearing these, me for instance, is most likely looking for debtors. Bodies to sell at the mortuary. Whatever it takes to get by in the Hive, right?
Do you ever work together?
Oh, hells no. We all dress the same, but there's only so many debtors to go round. We band up, usually, and compete in bands, packs, gangs, whatever you like to call them, aren't none too friendly with one another.
Are there any rival packs of collectors near here? He nods.
Oh, sure as Sigil's round. Most collectors in the Hive call Kip in Ragpickers Square, the dump Spikewitter here. It's mostly run by Sharegrave's laddos now, though, since we fought most of Farad's boys off.
What do you know of Farad?
Oh, I don't know much about the man myself, but we spent a lot of time fighting his boys. But they've all suddenly disappeared, along with Farad. We still catch the occasional straggler in Ragpickers Square, but we've no idea where the rest are hiding at.
Does he have many men left?
We must, because we hear his lot's been real successful of late. Finding lots of debtors, making lots of jink off the dusties at the mortuary. I don't know how either, as we've been having trouble finding corpses of late.
Why does the mortuary pay for these corpses?
Oh, keeps the streets of the Hive a bit cleaner, I guess. Keeps the plague from spreading and the like. Though the dusties like to keep their dead in their place too. Seeing to it they all get properly buried and melted down or whatnot. Part of their beliefs and such.
Thank you. Farewell.
And farewell to you too, Cutter.
He waves, pushes off with his cart, and resumes his call-out.
Debtors! Where are you damn debtors? Come on, come on.
Leading out into Ragpickers Square, Blackshade Gate, despite the mountains of trash piled up around its stone archway, is surprisingly ornate. Beyond, from what you can see, it looks to be a dumping ground for the city. Underneath, a group of collectors huddle around a small pitched tent.
Clipped copper. Me copper's not clipped. Me copper's as good as any swords.
No, that's him. He's going.
They see you approaching, then frantically mutter before scattering into the trash heaps. Remaining behind, sat at a pitch, is a fierce yet weary-looking woman, rolling her eyes as she tightens her worn leather bodice close about her. Tendrils of sweet, pungent incense drift from within her tent, and wisps of knotted thread drape about her hooded mantle like a veil of spider's webs obscuring her grey and pointed features. She smiles as she sees you approach.
Now, ye look to be a blood who's lost something. Mayhap Anya can help ye find it, Cutter.
She fans a deck of ornate cards, resting them on her upper thigh.
Oh, what good fortune. We probably lost what we're looking for at your kip, miss.
Actually, maybe you can help me find what I'm missing, miss. Her tone becomes businesslike.
I love. Now, there's the matter of a finder's fee.
I see. How much?
Some 7 commons for a glance at what you're missing, and 13 commons to actually find what you're missing.
I just had some questions. She frowns.
I'm not a tout.
She rubs 2 fingers together.
Unless you've got some jink to pay for my time.
All right, I can pay you. How much?
For a handsome basher like yourself.
She gives a wide smile. You notice her teeth mostly comprise of sparse, needle-like fangs.
3 commons will be enough to loosen me tongue.
She licks her lips, then frowns.
Other questions of a deeper chant will cost you more, though.
Sounds fair. 3 commons, just a few questions.
Aye then.
She slips the jink into her palm, where it promptly vanishes, before leading you, crouching into a tent. It is larger inside than it had appeared, but nonetheless, you feel out of place with your bulky, scarred frame as you sit, awkwardly cramped on the colourfully cushioned floor. Anya, however, perches with ease, cross-legged, her spidery fingers clasped below her chin.
Now, ask your questions, love.
I'm trying to get my bearings. What can you tell me about this city? Her eyes narrow suspiciously.
The city? What about it?
What is it?
What's Sigil, you mean? It's a city beneath your feet and rising to either side of ye. Makes visitors' stomachs gallop, it does. Centre the plains to hear it told. If ye believe that wash.
Why is it wash?
Well now, love, according to the greybeards and scholars and governors and all of the rest of them rattling their brain boxes, they says the plains go on forever.
She taps her head.
Who's to say where the centre is?
Well, what do people do around here?
Oh, I already made you an offer, love, and it's not an unfair price. Don't know nowhere else you might be enjoying the delights you'd have with me.
What if I was looking to earn a little jink myself?
You're asking me? Oh, what? You thinking of becoming one of the sisterhood, are you?
She nearly buckles over in gales of laughter, then takes a deep breath.
Oh, you're a rich man, you are.
Fine. I had some other questions.
Wait a moment. Now, you're the Burke that's been knocking around looking for Ferret, ain't ya? Have you not found him yet?
What? How did you...
Rich indeed.
Never mind. What do you know of him?
Ferret? Now, that's one of the greater darks, love. If you be wanting to know about that blood, that'll be thrice the commons of a normal asking.
Fair enough. Here's 9 commons. She pockets the coins, then slowly spreads the deck of cards out in front of her.
What ye be wanting to know about old Ferret?
At that price, anything you can tell me about him.
Chant is he's a collector boss. Has a whole bunch of bloods in his web.
She reveals a card. The Chariot. And where can I find him?
Now, no one knows for dead, sure. But if I were to suggest a place, love, I'd say start in Ragpickers Square.
She winks, and perhaps it's the incense, but a slight dizziness overtakes you.
I see.
Got something else to say, love?
I'm actually looking for a journal.
No idea where you'd find such a thing, love. He might look elsewhere.
She curls her tongue over her fangs and reveals another card. The Empress.
I know some places he might start.
Never mind. Thank you. Farewell. As you try and stand, a gentle chiming fills the tent. It's soothing.
If you just rested your head for one moment, why the rush?
No, enough of this. We can't stay.
Oh, but we were just getting started.
Chief, can you spare me some jink? It's been a long time. It has.
I'm not even gonna ask what you intend to accomplish here. Anya cuts in.
It's twice the cost for the Mimir or any other degenerate.
You're not sure if it's the dappled light in the tent or the dizziness, but you could swear Anya's fangs had grown longer since you last looked. Don't sweat it, Mort. From the looks of her, I'm probably saving you from dying twice. A wicked look flashes across her face, and the chiming turns to a deafening screech.
May a pox shrivel your innards! You have a stinking fat and sense of a goatherd, and you're twice as obey!
Mort stares transfixed as Anya lets loose a stream of creative obscenities. You try to block out the noise, and grasping blindly, you drag Mort out of the tent and burst into the open square, gasping and blinking, trying to shake off the effect. Anya cranes out of her tent, spitting words of fury as you flee out of earshot. You hadn't realized until now, but she had placed your third and final card in your hand. 5 of Blades. Mort, dazed, is silent for a moment, then turns to you.
Whoa, Chief. I could learn a thing or two from her. I got a few more taunts for the old arsenal.
He turns back to Anya across the square, who is catching her breath, a scornful look on her face.
I'm also in love.
Ragpickers Square. A vast, sprawling heap of rubble and ruin, mortared together with rat droppings. Ancient stonework from a forgotten civilization, stripped of any value and dignity, lies broken amongst the tangled knots of razorvine. Rickety makeshift structures lean and sway in the fetid breeze, and sagging platforms, linked by an intricate network of rope ladders and gangways, provide some safe passage through the engulfing trash below. The entire place twitches with verminous energy. Packs of collectors, along with the cawing flocks of large grey birds, leer and crouch in the crags, cautious of your arrival. Some scatter, hiding in the shadows, others watch you hungrily. One individual, more brazen than the rest, climbs atop a muddy bank and looks down upon you.
What do you want? I need some answers. I have some for you then. Like, what do you want to know? And how badly do you want to know it?
You hesitate. You've lost track of how much coin you've doled out for the same vague answers.
Look around you, Cutter. I don't make enough jink to go lighting at the dark for nothing. It'll take a bit of coin, it will, if you want the chant.
With a sigh, you toss 5 coppers out onto the mound under his feet. He studies them for a moment, and pockets them swiftly.
Go on then, ask.
Who is Sharegrave?
He's me boss. Casts his shadow a whole mess of collectors, he does. His kip's just up that scaffold.
He points to a mostly intact building on a raised platform. Sheets and rags are strung up by the entrance like a mercenary's colours.
But I'd stay away from him unless you got some right good cause to talk to the man.
I'm looking for Farad.
Farad. Hey, what about him? You seem suddenly wary. Why? Farad.
He spits, sneering contemptuously.
Ragpickers Square is Sharegrave's territory, you see. Farad and his dogs came in a while back and tried to oust us. We fought them off, we did. So there's all in a hiding somewhere now. We still catch one of his lads now and then round the square. Usually we turn him into a quick spotted jink at the mortuary, the parking sods.
Do you know where he is?
I know where the rat bastard in. He ain't in Ragpickers Square. But he's close by, somewhere's the chant.
That is all.
You turn to leave, and the chieftain calls out.
Keep yourself safe, Cutter. If I find you on the streets, I'll be kind to your corpse.
The rest of his band chuckle grimly. You reach the base of the scaffold, and see that the entire structure is mostly held aloft by the thick mass of razorvine growing in and around the beams.
Hey!
As you set to climb, a weaselly-looking fellow skulking about the garbage beckons you over.
The skull. Where'd you get the skull, eh? Me skull it is. Give it back to me.
Mort turns to the hiver.
Pike off.
You're not getting this skull.
Thief, you vulture. Scabby gull. Stealing. Pike and others things. Taking them's. Give me back the skull. Mine. It's mine.
He has a dangerous, feral look in his eyes.
If you can prove to me the skull's yours, then I'll give it to you. It's only fair.
He stares at you for a moment.
It's Pike and mine. Talking proof. Don't know nothing. Gives me the skull back. Now.
How about this? I'll buy the skull from you. Fair?
His eyes narrow, his lips pulling away from crooked, stained teeth in a twisted sneer.
Skulls a lot of jink. You can pay. Means a lot to me, that skull.
Chief, don't give this trash anything.
Is that any way to talk to me, your owner?
Mort turns on the man.
I wasn't talking to you, ass for brains. When I talk to you, you'll know, because I'll be grunting and snorting so you can understand what I'm saying.
The man turns to you, teeth bared and angrier than ever.
Oh, it's gonna cost. Gonna cost to settle the matter.
You quickly push 5 coppers into his hand.
I'm floating with the biggest idiot in the multiverse.
Hey. That'll settle it between us.
He leans in close. He reeks of death.
Now, I hear you've been asking after Farad. Chance not cheap. Jink, 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 jink.
You'll get nothing. Go on, spill the chant.
I'll spill nothing.
His eyes, constantly rolling and darting as he speaks to you, seem to fall on your coin purse frequently.
I know the chant, you don't.
He sneers at you, then points at himself.
You got jink, you know the chant too. See?
He rubs 2 reeking yellowed fingers together, right in front of your face.
Why are your fingers yellow?
Huh? Come again.
Your fingers, they're yellow. Why?
His eyes narrow to slits.
A little something I picked up from a corpse. A little corpse rot, he tells. Don't mind it. Jink for chant, remember? Jink for chant. Jink, jink.
He holds out his palms, thrusting them towards you.
Forget it.
He spits at your feet and growls.
Fine. Steal from me again, no.
And what? Steal from you and you'll do what?
Never you mind. There'll be trouble, you can be sure. Trouble.
Don't make the mistake of presuming I paid you out of fear or weakness. You could end up dead.
Pah! Rattle your bone box somewhere else. Away with you, dirty thief. Stealing thief.
He pushes his chin close up to your face, and you notice, as he hassles you, his fingers slide into your coin purse. Despite the quickness of it all, there was a certain familiarity to it, and you're certain you could do the same with a bit of practice. In any case, you grab his wrist.
Hey! What are you doing? Let go! Let go!
He struggles, but can't break your grip.
You were robbing me. I warned you. You could end up dead.
Hey, now, hold on, mistake. We can settle this without bringing the dead book into it.
I'll spare your life for some information.
He nods in a panic.
Yes, ask. Questions, go.
Tell me where Farad is.
That's dangerous, John. A little drink goes a long way, eh?
You seem to forget your circumstances. You tighten your grip. Tell me now.
Well, I know his case ain't up here, up top, but it's close. Close by, just hid. He's here and there, always moving about. Must have somewheres he comes and goes through. Gots to be a body round here who knows where the hole is, but it ain't me.
I think you're lying. Spill the chant, or I'm keeping this hand.
He licks his lips, then looks around.
Now, eh? There's a gate, eh? Look toward the topmost corner of the square. I'm betting that's where the old serpent is holed up. Don't know how to get past the gate, though.
You stare into his darting eyes.
Why are you robbing me? I'll give you what you need.
He frowns and squints at you like you're addled.
Hey? What?
Chief, come on.
Yellowfingers gawps at you in disbelief.
I could use a lot of drink. I'm nearly starving, I am. Life on the streets of the Hive is none too pretty.
None too pretty from where I'm floating either.
You place another 5 coppers into his withering hand.
Hey. Thank you kindly. Generous of you. May the lady's shadow pass you by.
Get out of here, and never let me see you again.
You release your grip and let him scurry away, clutching at his wrist. You climb the creaking scaffold, and at the top are greeted by the whistling of a cheerful tune. A young woman confronts you, toying with a well-kept fighting knife. She's armored in an immaculately maintained dark velvet gambeson.
Quite a display down there. Name's Ratbone, Cutter.
She proffers a gloved hand for you to shake, and despite her relatively small frame, her grip is firm.
I'm a thief for hire in the employ of Sharegrave, the boss of the collectors you see round this square. He pays me mostly to learn his lads to be real quiet-like.
She winks.
And how to fight if they runs into a spot of trouble.
Well met. He's in there. She nods towards the weather-beaten curtain behind her.
Careful though, Cutter. He don't like visitors. He's right suspicious of everyone. Sharegrave's not even his real name. Just what me and some of the others calls him.
Say, would you know where Farrad is?
No, I don't. Here he's nearby, though. Some of his lads come running through at times, making for some hidey holes that's who knows where. Somewhere up around those elevated platforms, I bet. But it's none of my business.
She shrugs and spits on the ground.
Live and let live, says Ratbone. Sometimes.
You push through the thick flap of canvas, and 2 heavy-set thugs in collector's robes draw their rusted daggers on you.
Whoa, easy.
A third man flicks his head,
Hold.
and the thugs lower their guard. This central figure is tall and lanky, a pale, grim-looking man who exudes authority despite his gangly and somewhat awkward frame. A good portion of his cheek is missing, and what little that's left is a ragged mess of scar tissue. His narrow, shifting eyes, almost mere slits, look clever and dangerous. Would you be Sharegrave? He spits out a reply.
I don't know you, Beck. Who are you to be asking about some Sharegrave, Cutter?
A collector, one called Parks, referred me to Sharegrave. I was told he might know the location of someone named Farrad.
Now, what a funny thing to be asking about. What do you want to know about Old Blood Farrad for?
He stole something from me, and I want it back. The man is silent for a moment, then cracks a smile.
He steals from us all, doesn't he? Whether we're living or dead.
What do you mean?
Our main source of living around here is the dead. You follow?
You're a collector.
Aye, that's right.
He looks at you as if he's considering something.
Now, there's only so many deaders at one time.
My bloods and I can only gather what there is. If somebody else is gathering deaders, that's that much less jink that goes into our pockets.
And Farad is your competition.
Aye.
So,
The rub is that he's found a motherload of them. Now, I haven't heard of any massacres in Sigil.
he frowns, tapping at his chin.
So I'm quite interested in knowing where all the deaders are coming from.
I could find out for you, if you'd like.
Oh, aye. And how would you do that?
All I need to do is find him. Let me worry about the rest.
Huh? You got it. I'll even give you 100 green for your trouble. Go up on the platforms, follow them spireward, and you'll come to a trash-packed archway, the portal. Then, a gate that apparently leads to Farad's bolt hole. Course, you'll need the key, but I can't help you there, so you'll have to figure that one out yourself. Getting in and getting the information is your deal. And if anyone asks, you don't know me, and we never had this talk. Here.
Of course. Farewell. You step back into the reeking must of Ragpickers Square. Ratbone, impressed, eyes you up and down.
Still in one piece? You must be special.
Do you know how to get through the portal? The archway, up over the platforms.
Eh? No, I don't. Say, you could ask Carver, the rat catcher. Sometimes he goes poking up about there and disappears for an odd while. Cagey Bert, though.
Thanks. You climb off the platform and scramble over the planks into the slums. You see a few collectors boiling a rancid soup over a small trash fire.
I'm looking for Carver. I was told to find him here.
One of them, too weary to look up, flicks an arm, gesturing deeper into the shanty. Remnants of an abandoned community litter the place. Stacks of boxes from lost market stalls, hanging trinkets dangling on weathered twine. Washing lines adorned with rags stewed in the decades of soot-laden rain.
See here. No, nothing. Blast into your game.
Around a corner, you see a man covered in short, dense fur. He's inspecting a series of rat traps set in a perimeter around him. Despite his odd, spindly proportions, he appears quick and lithe.
Greetings.
As you speak, he whirls and drops into a half-crouch. Though whether he's ready to spring at you or dart into the rubble, you cannot tell.
What? Speak quick, now!
I just had some questions.
Well, I don't got answers, pike off!
You hadn't noticed it before, but he has a long, curved dagger in his hand.
Are you threatening me?
Why? Does Carver scare you? You feeling threatened, Burke?
No, I'm not.
Figures, looking the way you do.
It won't harm you to speak with me.
That's so?
He squints at you for a moment, then spits on the ground beside him.
How's I supposed to know that, eh?
I don't understand.
What part don't you get, Burke? Pay close. How's I supposed to know you're here to just ask questions? And what if they're questions I don't want to answer, eh? You gonna hold me down, torture me?
I won't try to harm you. You have my word.
Not a chance. Go pester someone else.
Fine.
Just as you tend to leave, he calls out to you.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Hold a moment there.
Yes?
He straightens up and puts away his blade.
Who sent you? Why are you here?
What are you talking about?
He squints at you, long and hard. Then, after an awkward silence,
Fine. What did you want from me?
Like I said, I had some questions.
Go on then. Ask your questions.
I need to get through that trash-packed archway, the portal on the platforms above. Can you help me?
Oh, that's what it is. Well, that's going beyond my territory, that is. You'll need to find Creedon, another rat catcher. A damn good one at that.
Fine. And where do I find this Creedon?
Cretan's usually in the Hive, right outside the Office of Vermin and Disease Control.
Office of... Where's that?
He frowns at you.
Back in the Hive, Cutter. Find a tout if you needs to. Why you want to be poking around up there anyway?
That is none of your concern.
Oh, believe me, it is. It really is.
I'm looking for someone named Farad.
You are ya?
He leans in and lowers his voice.
He's close, you know. Why are you looking for him, eh? He a friend? Enemy?
He's got some information for me.
Oh, does he? Well, you're in the right place. You'll come across the man soon enough.
Who are you?
Carver, I am. Who are you?
I'm, Adon.
He smirks.
Sure you are.
What are you doing here?
Nothing you'd care to know about. Adon.
It seems like you're searching for something.
Nah, I'm actually hunting.
He suddenly stops speaking and narrows his eyes at you.
What do you care, eh?
I'm wondering if I could help.
Well, I'm hunting cranian rats.
Why are you hunting rats?
Not just rats, mind you. Cranian rats. There's a bounty out of them. Didn't you know? A green for each tail you bring in.
Green?
Powers. You're a clueless, ain't you? Green or copper. Anyway, they're not like your normal rat. They're far more dangerous to a bug. The more of them that get together, the smarter they get. Smart enough to cast spells even. Like a mage. The Hive, all a Sigil really, is dangerous enough without packs of brilliant spellcaster rats squeaking about.
Where do you bring the tails?
Why? Planning on doing some rat catching yourself?
No, just curious.
He pauses for a moment, then sighs.
Don't know why I'm giving you the dock of it, but it's just downwards over the marketplace, through Mercer's Gate. Just don't go hunting rats around here. There ain't hardly enough of them for one rat catcher.
There's not? Have any idea why?
Nah, I don't. Maybe they've been hunted too much. I'm not the only rat catcher in Sigil, you know? Just the only rat catcher here in Ragpickers Square.
Tell me about this area. Anything I should look out for here?
Oh, plenty. Though, one you really ought to watch out for. There's a rake wandering around the Hive. Doesn't look the basher. But the man's a born fighter, sure as Sigil's round.
Who is he?
Hold there, Buck. I ain't done yet. I was gonna tell you. It's not the rake, so much as the grubby collector that's always chasing him about, see? I'm telling you, that collector's got more to do with the rake killing than just dragging on the deaders off.
What do you mean?
Look, I can see you're interested. And this ain't your normal chant, if you get me. It's that dog. I'll be asking a favor of you before I spill anything more.
Ask your favor.
Good. I got a standing bet with a friend of mine. Bit of a competition, really. All you need to know is, I want rat tails. As many as I can get my hands on. Not your normal rats, mind you, but those are for cranian rats. Brain vermin. Get me... I don't know, 20, 25 tails, and I'll give you the whole dock of that grubby collector and the bloody rake.
I understand.
Right. Now bugger off! It's getting gloomy and I don't want you scaring away the cat.
Farewell then.
You leave the man to his hunting and make your way back into the clearing. What little sickly light there had been in the haze before has rapidly dwindled. The loitering collectors are nowhere to be seen. Ragpickers Square is almost deserted. There is one figure rummaging through the trash at the base of an enormous broken statue. He's mumbling to himself softly and nodding occasionally. He looks up as you approach.
Someone comes to speak to Nod. Speaks to Nod.
He suddenly breaks into a fit of hacking coughs and nods to himself.
Are you all right?
Me.
He seems unsure for a moment, then nods assent.
Me scoops up debtors, take the Dusties. Dusties pay jink for dead. Dead to the right place, dead happy. Dusties happy, not happy. We not shiny jink.
All right. Farewell.
He shakes his head, coughs, then resumes his nodding.
You'd ask Nod. Nod'd ask you a question for you.
Go ahead. Ask your question.
Nod has a sister.
Amaris, lives in the Hive, away from here, away from the square. So long ago, Nod was separated from his sister, taken away.
You've been separated from her. And what? You'd like me to find her?
You don't know her.
You wonder how many strangers he's asked this very same thing.
Well, if you sees her, if you does, tell her Nod, her brother, worries about her. He does. He worries.
Why don't you go find her?
No.
Nod covers his head with his arms.
Nod can't speaks right no more. He can't, nay, and he smells of corpses in the dirt of the square. Ragpickers square. No.
What happened to you, Nod?
Nod sniffs, looking to the ground.
Nod was young. He was, and started hearing voices telling Nod, do this, do that, bad things, like chewing on Nod's fingers.
He holds his hands to his face, and you can see old bite scars beneath the caked-on filth.
Go on.
So, Nod's parents takes him away. They puts him in a dark place. A winged tower where they pokes needles and hooks in Nod's head. Voices stop by, they do, but Nod can't think right. Can't talk right. Nod escapes the place. He does. Wakes up in the Hive.
Where is this winged tower?
Don't know. Bad place. Bad.
He shakes his head violently, clutching at his temples.
Nod wakes up. There's collectors. Collectors poking at Nod, saying, "Look, not a deader. He's not. Takes him back. Takes him." And they takes Nod's back. They back to the square. So long years ago.
All right. I'll find your sister for you, if I can.
No, Nod thanks you. He does. Nod thanks you. Amaris was pretty. So pretty. Lives in the Hive now. Fair skin she was, hair like jet, and always in blue. Blue. She was always in blue.
Farewell, Nod.
Farewell.
You walk back over the boarded platforms and bridges of knotted rope. The strange Sigil sky has darkened to an inky violet. You've no sense of the time, but the day has certainly shifted to night. Everything is quiet, almost peaceful compared to the streets you first encountered. A sweet melody drifts through the air, a humming that feels eerily out of place. Then again, deeper in tone, followed by a stifled giggle.
Who's there?
Silence. A doorway yawns and creaks on its rusted hinges. Suddenly, a lurch of movement and shifting of rubble as though something had leapt through the junk. You see nothing. You wade towards the sound and come to a ragged hut. There's a rustling, a scratching, a series of quiet squeaks. You draw your knife, grip the fist irons tight in your palm, and step through the doorway. A corpse, face down, teeming with large rodents twitching as they chew at its lifeless flesh. Their fur matted and their bodies swollen, their heads illuminated by glowing, pulsing, brain-like tumors. Several of the rats break away and pounce at you, scrambling over your body. You crash one against the wall and pierce another with the point of your knife. Two more scratch and bite into your skin. With a sickening crunch, Mort clamps one between his jaws and spits it to the ground. You grab another, twisting its spine in two. The rest scurry away, darting through the crags and holes in the ramshackle walls. Heart pumping, you scan the hovel. It is empty, desolate, aside from the corpse in the center. Beyond the bites and scratches, several damp wounds cluster around the spine. The brown collector's robes are stained with blood and filth. You turn it over and recognize the face of the pickpocket from perhaps an hour before. You check and see his bruised wrist and rotting yellow fingers.
No. Chief, don't look so cut up. This Burke probably had it coming.
I guess.
I'm not so sure.
Looking back to Mort, you see him floating with a rubbery rat tail pinched between his teeth. You recall Carver's request and join Mort in collecting the morbid trophies. As you step outside the hut, you find you are hemmed in by three shadowy figures, their faces obscured in the darkness.
Shiva's goddess, what be this foul-smelling thing? Looks like one of the Dusty's corpses done ran off.
The man chortles.
Maybe we ought to roll the sorry cops and drag it in for a reward, eh?
He looks to his friend and waggles his eyebrows.
Very amusing. Now get out of my way.
Get out of my way, he says. Why should we, eh?
Because I don't want any trouble. Just let me pass.
Enough rattling your bone boxes, lads.
Pushing the others aside, this one has a fine mesh of yellow scales for skin, and her wiry reptilian figure writhes as she steps towards you. She takes one look at you and sneers in disgust.
What in the nine hells be you?
Her lips curl, revealing sharp fangs as she flares her widened nostrils.
Never have I seen anything so ugly.
You better watch that forked tongue of yours, or it'll be lying at your feet.
For a moment, she seems taken aback, then sneers again, fingering the hilt of a blade.
You look due for a bleeding, Governor, just like your friend in there.
The rough handle of your fist irons grazes your palm as her hand twitches, ready to strike.
Draw that blade, and the only one you'll be killing is yourself.
We'll see, Governor. We'll see.
I warned you.
Mort gnashes at the wrist of the thug to your left, latching onto his arm as he attempts to draw his blade. Before you could react, the leader forces her hand into your face and shanks her jagged blade into your stomach with two rapid strikes. The pain is excruciating. You lock her arm and bite into her hand as hard as you can. With a shriek of pain, she lets go, leaving the blade hooked in your abdomen. To your right, the third thug lunges forward. You dodge his grapple and force him into the wall behind you, slashing down with your blade, splitting his cheek from ear to lip. You go to strike again, just as bloody fingers grasp your throat, dragging you to the ground. The leader has you pinned to the floor, her serpentine strength wrapping you in a death grip. Mort gnashes at her ankle, and she lets out a shriek as her tendons are severed. You flip her over, and with 3 bone-crunching strikes, she goes limp and expires. With Mort's other victim lying lifeless in the trash, you turn to the whimpering fool behind you.
Please, let me be.
You stride over, brandishing your blade, a glint of green smeared in blood.
No.
Merciless, you thrust the knife into his throat and watch his eyes go vacant. With a biting wince, you remember the dagger stuck hilt deep in your stomach. You wrench it free. It is agony as it falls to the floor. Your vision is blurry, your breathing faint and shallow. A heaviness passes through your knees, and the ground rises to meet you. listening to Planescape Torment, the unofficial audio series, a RevocerGM production. To support the show and those involved, please consider subscribing to our Patreon or donating via our Ko-fi page. Links to both are in the description.